Right. Look, the sun is shining. You can see it in my cabin. It is a freezing day here today. I don't know about where you are, but it is absolutely bitter. We are on day 13 of things we shouldn't say, and Victoria's dressed up especially for the occasion.
Here we are, guys. Once again, it's very Christmassy. So you've had a Christmas jumper this week, and now you've got full Christmas sparkle attire. No, I am joking. I'm going out for Christmas lunch today. My celebrations start, and I've got to choose the topic today. So the topic I'm going to choose, Nick, is all about. Just moving this carrier bag out of the way. It's all about consistency.
Oh, consistency. That's a good topic, that is. I reckon that it's one that vast majority of people struggle with.
I think so too. And I think people struggle with it because they try and be consistent with too much. And when you try and be consistent with too much, it then becomes a challenge. And I think people don't start small and remain small. So they're like, yes, I'm going to do one task every single day. And they will continue to do that one task every single day until it gets to probably day 7. And they're like, oh, I could make that task a little bit bigger. So let's make that task a little bit bigger and try and do that every single day. And then the task each day then gets so big that they then stop it, but they don't go back to that smaller task that they should have been doing in the first place. What do you think, Nick?
No, I agree with that one, but what I come across more often is, and we're guilty of this, it's that all or nothing approach. It is like I'm either gonna, like, if you talk about something that people talk to me a lot about, calling leads or looking for new customers, like if I'm not doing hundreds of them, there's no point. Like, so it's that either I'm all in or there's absolutely nothing
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and I agree with you because I'm very much the same as that, especially when it comes to like building a customer base, for example. I We had this conversation, and we've had it quite a few times because why don't you just do 10 books a day? And I'm like, because it's boring. I don't want to do 10 books a day. I want to do 200 books once a week. But that's why it's overwhelming. That's why you can't do it. And it's that conversation. Everyone thinks that everyone who's really good at business is really consistent and has it all worked out. But we all have our downfalls, don't we?
Absolutely. And it is, I don't know why, but it seems that our brains are wired in that way, where it's like, if I can't do it all, there's no point in bothering. And people really miss out on the biggest thing that will move their business, their life, their anything forward, which is consistently taking small steps gets you a lot further than inconsistently taking big steps.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a good exercise to do sort of now for the next few minutes with anyone who's watching or watching on replay, but just have some brainstorming time with yourself about what one thing can you do in your business every single day that takes 5 to 10 minutes that you can do no matter where you are. Doesn't have to be 7 days a week, but it definitely needs to be 5 days a week, right? What can you do that you won't default on? Nick, what do you think you could do in your business at least 5 days a week that you would never default on, no matter whether you're on holiday, bank holiday, just something little?
I absolutely love this. I call it like the bare minimum, like, because everyone has like different things that they call stuff, but it's like this bare minimum, as you said, that you can commit to no matter what is going on in life. Finding that bare minimum, and it might be that you have, I know you've said 5 days a week there, Vic, but it might be like the bare minimum that I'm going to do is these 3 tasks a week or these 3 tasks a month. I always rewind it back to silly things like cleaning your teeth. Like, do you know what? If you talk to a dentist, I'm sure they'd say to clean your teeth twice a day, to floss regularly, to do all of these things. And the reality is, there's few of us who are perfect. I know I'm not. But what's the bare minimum that you can make sure that you do that you never default off of? So in my business, it's always about my default is no one's going to go a day without an answer from me. Like, so it doesn't matter what's going on in my life and what's happening, I can always give them an answer, even if that answer is I can't answer you today. I'm all right with that. They're going to get an answer that just says like, oh, busy at my Christmas lunch today, Vic. I'll get back to you tonight or tomorrow. That's a bare minimum customer service standard that I know that I can provide for people really, really easily. I don't have to put pressure on myself that I resolve everyone's problem every single solitary day, but I do commit that I'm going to communicate with everybody on the day that they reach out and contact me. Really simple thing to commit to that even when I'm on holiday, I can do.
Yeah, I love that. And I have very similar commitments that I tend to do. Mine is definitely communication. So as I do it in more of a group format than I do individually. So if I know I'm going to be, MIA for a few days or anything like that, or something's come up with the kids, then I'll always put in like our little group chat or announcement chat, guys, if you need me, ring me if it's urgent, because I'm not going to be looking at my phone, getting back to text messages, that sort of thing. Um, but my consistency piece has to be on social media. I make sure I am present every single day without fail, and it doesn't matter what that presence is. So I just make sure I'm posting and I'm being relevant to me. So it could be sharing a memory. It doesn't have to be something I'm actively doing every single day, because that's difficult to share what you're doing every single day. It feels boring to you as well. So when you're a bit bored of it, it's a bit like, I feel a bit bored. And that's also another thing that you default on, because when you're bored, you don't want to do it, right? So you just don't. But it could be, just having that memory to share, or sharing a business tip, or always having a little backup plan. I tend to do on socials, which is my bare minimum every single day, because that's where I run 95% of my business.
And I think as well, I know you've said about like um not trying to make too many things happen. There's an one like example that I always fall back on that isn't business related, but I think is so powerful is always when I do my couch to 5K. It's the most simple of programs for somebody who's never done any exercise in their life, who it was so unfit it is not true. It it has this wonderful thing where your commitment is that you're going to go 3 times a week. That's the only commitment, is that you're going to go 3 times a week. The rest of it you can flex and implement depending on what's going on in your life. But the 3 times a week is going, and I saw this really good little reel this morning, and I thought, oh, I love that. Where can I use that? And it's so relevant here, right? The difference between people who succeed and people who don't succeed is the 5 minutes of discomfort that they're prepared to go through. And going on that run is a really good example, because the actual act of doing the exercise is no different whether you're in a good mood, bad mood, the sun's shining, it's raining. The act is the same. The discomfort is that I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to leave the house. I can think of a million reasons why not to do this. Is the discomfort. The doing is exactly the same the every day. You take these analogies that I'm talking about into your work life, and it is that, what's my routine? My routine is 3 times a week I'm going to do X. That's my routine. That's my habit. That's the thing that I'm going to do. You can then put it into that bare minimum. It's a crazy week this week. I'm still going to do my 3 times of this activity in my business to move it forward, but I'm reverting to my bare minimum.
And
Giving
that
yourself that
you never
permission.
you can never fail on that either, because if that's what you're doing in a tough week, you know you're always going to build on that in a week that you're excelling. And that's, that's the absolute beauty. And don't make the bare minimums difficult. They need to be easy. So they need to be able to be moving that needle to push your business forward, but they need to be easy enough to be able to do when you're stuck in a rut and when you're really busy and when you can't do them. So don't make them difficult. Just because it says the word business in front of it doesn't mean it needs to be difficult, and that's another thing. So I've got a little something, 'cause it's quite a short one today, but I wanted to leave you on this thought. Now, me and Nick have heard this quite a few times. However, I always forget the figure, and it always surprises me when I actually find it out. So I've got a question for you, Nick, and I'd like you to answer like you don't know the answer,
Okay.
right? So it's a bit of role play here. I want you to be my audience. Would you rather 1p doubled every single day for 30 days to drop in your bank account, or would you rather me give you £2 million?
Well, that's easy, isn't it? The gut would say £2 million, Vic. Because, like, just quickly in my brain, like, really quickly, a penny doubling. I mean, what's that going to be, like a couple of grand or something? No, I'll have the 2 million today.
2 million.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to pick the other answer, because actually I don't know whether this is going to be the right way round on the screen for you. But this is £5.3 million. Yeah?
It's the right way round, Vic. I'm looking at it and it's the right way round.
Perfect. £5.3 million is a penny doubled every single day for 30 days. Now, people aren't going to believe me and they're going to be Googling this. So go and Google it. Google the compound effect 1p. Or do it on a calculator yourself, right? All you're going to be doing is 1p times 2 and then double that answer every single day for 30 days. 5.3 million. But that's the simple, tiny act every single day, adding interest into yourself, into your business for a 30-day period. That is how you will grow. Did that surprise you, Nick?
Absolutely does. It shocks me. And I think it's a really good example to end on. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Do not underestimate the power of small actions done consistently. It's never about the big things because you can't keep on with them. So thank you for joining today. Love you all. Take care. And Vic, enjoy your lunch.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.